What I thought I would do is address some facts directly regarding um, how I've been used and what my um, purpose is to those who have used me. And this is a place mark in the book of time in the sense that it's part of an important, complicated narrative that's being pulled over in the wake of the newspaper industry and the upload to entertainment media we now have. The illusion masters dominate. Now, in D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation, which was the first great epic to come out of Hollywood, you see a Negro soldier. Negro was the term of the times. And he's foaming at the mouth as he chases a white girl over a cliff. They put peroxide in his mouth to give this special effect of foam. Well, the master narrative of the Texas school book saw them use a nerve agent on me, a personality change chemical, which they said made me a jealous boyfriend. Now, you might, in the way they set me up, see a sort of satisfaction if you um, don't like sheltered white liberals. You know, the transformation of a racial equity symbol. They did this to the black man, so we did it to the white man. Now, of course, the Negro soldier was just an actor. He wasn't a child who was maimed for life. But images are such that they're dehumanizing. And you can't really expect somebody who's driven by stereotype hatreds to really care that I'm a human being, that I write poetry or any of that. I was kidnapped and held hostage by white aggressive Klansmen as a child. And the only thing the black literati had to say about it was that I'm not special. So I know that stereotypes weigh in, but I think it's important to understand that the acid burn to the face, in part, was a planned revenge by the Japanese extremist warlord in New York who targeted me as a child because my father was a naval officer off the coast of Japan in revenge for Hiroshima. In other words, the NAACP poker players in the Green Party aren't just working with the KKK who tortured me as a liberal to show that black people will just turn on you if you try to help them. That's what they said about what they did. I don't understand how you can miss the fact that my father's obituary had German Green Party and a parochial man named Donahue on the back talking about ejecting people. And yet, despite these people being suspicious white people, in fact, Mount Desert Island was regaled as an operation of Joseph Goebbels. How you get that it's revenge for the black man? Colin Powell and his friend Robert Fripp came after me saying that Ronald Reagan was innocent of what had been done to me. At a time when I almost believed that. The NAACP was saying, you know, are you going to eat that? Eat your words. Because I impugned him, they said. Well, he was working with the people who invented the Burning Cross for the first time in Birth of the Nation. They made his wartime films that are full of Axis symbolism. So you have Joseph Goebbels as the master avenger of the black man over the white liberal sissy stereotype because he's jealous, they say. Deaf, you know, he cries when he's rejected. And he has a nerve trauma. Now, this is what I want to get to about Seattle, Washington. Seattle, Washington, and its leaders, Bruce Hurl, Aaron Dixon, Rosa Clemente, and the people in the Chinatown district and the newspapers. to sell this mad stereotype. After denying me my right to go to school, after chemically castrating me, after murdering people who I loved and trying to attribute blame to me. Never dream of doing them. Are involved in a nuclear threat against their own children. It's not being stubborn, it's being weird and cunning. And it's important to remember this master game plan came with the AIDS attack. The Two Virgins Pussy Ball and the COVID operation came from whoever the hell blew up the Nord Stream stream, whether it was Russia or the United States or both of them. It's out of control. And it mustn't be encouraged. You mustn't surround innocent people with racial phobias and justify something this tremendously eccentric, naive, and warped. People always called me naive because I believed that civility towards one another was the answer in our society to the problems that we have caused each other by being uncivil towards one another. It was always said, oh, well, that's putting a sign on your butt to kick you. It's not. The people who have sold this monstrosity, people like Martin Sheen, Vince Irini, Jaime Carbonell, Ming-Na Wen, Justin Chang, Steve Langer, and Peter Gabriel, working with John Schulman, looting our museums, torturing someone like me, torturing me, saying I'm not worth to even care, to even acknowledge that it happened, are threatening their own children with nuclear destruction. Literally, they're saying if I don't turn over the penny of my rare book report to the homeless boot sergeants of Seattle, they will blow up the world. And they have no scruples about minding their own pocketbooks. I don't know have any never asked them for anything. They one said an example of me. You know what a laugh you're getting out of Donald Trump when they say if he when it's his way of saying if I cooperate with you, look what they did to Jimmy Carrey. You think I'm going to let them do that to me? You're gonna start a chain reaction where one after another white person. I've never lived above the poverty line. And this imaginary money comes from some obsession with a postcard from Robert Fripp or something. As though I'm not entitled to my own earnings. And I don't even have any earnings. It's a theory of some sort. And you think you're going to start a chain reaction where one after another, all of the sheltered people, not just white but black, who have more money are going to come up and say, burn my facial nerve next. Terrorize my friends next. I'll give you everything that I have. I want to be sacrificed too. Don't you have any sense at all? Don't you know what it is to deal with a person who's honest, open, forthright, and brings a good heart to the civics of our affairs? They say, no, that's not true because I used to like to sleep with girls. Oh, were they jealous of my girlfriends? Not at all. They used to go down to the Slot 5 saloon and say, I'll give you $50 if you go out and seduce them. They made, Adrian Belew made a song, everybody could see what a pushover he was, how confused anybody could manipulate him. They didn't even make it secret, they bragged about doing this. What's their problem? I really don't understand what their problem is. They see it as art. They see it as like squeezing a stereotype to get revenge for the psyche, the collective psyche of who? Of Joseph Goebbels was what they said. They're getting even for Joseph Goebbels. You have the NAACP in Seattle and Pittsburgh getting even for Joseph Goebbels. And the Houdini trick is to say it's all the sacred meaning of John Lennon, which translates to Yoko Ono must be bribing them, must be paying them under the table to do this ridiculous nightmare. Who would go along with something like that? Seattle would.